For our roundtable with News Channel 5 political analyst and author of CrowleyPoliticalReport.com, Brian Crowley, and a now familiar face, Antonio Finz. We've roped him in. He doesn't know that he's stuck with us now. Longtime editor with the Palm Beach Post. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. And it was one of the biggest issues in the last election. We've talked about it for years, you and I, Brian, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. And then late last week, the Senate, with unanimous opposition from Democrats, 3 Republican senators effectively seem to have put the nail in the coffin, at least for now, for anything to do with repeal and replace of the Affordable Care Act. Of course, it's like a vampire. It still seems to have new life. But right now, it would seem, as we speak today, the Affordable Care Act, repeal and replace, is dead. Talk about the impact in Florida, where, among other things, more people signed up for the Affordable Care Act than any other state in the country, but where it also was a hugely contentious campaign issue. What does it mean going forward?
Well, clearly I have a very boring life because I stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning that morning to watch the Senate vote.
Right.
You know, I think that the biggest impact on all of the states, including Florida right now, is uncertainty. I think that, you know, President Trump has said that he's going to let Obamacare fail. There's a lot of things that he can do as president and through his secretaries that can, you know, for example, not advertising each year to try to bring in people to sign up for Obamacare, you know, slowing down various regulations and other elements of Obamacare that provide funding for the states and things. He seems, and he was saying this as of Friday, that, you know, and has continued to say it, very intent on letting Obamacare collapse. He's taking a hands-off approach to improving it.
Antonio, your thoughts?
Here's the issue. Now, here's a shameless plug for the Faces of Healthcare package that we have out there online at PalmBeachPost.com. And the problem is that a lot of the sloganeering around this issue, we've heard the last 7 years, when you get in front of people who are going to lose a health insurance, it becomes life and death. You have some very ill people. On the other hand, among critics, you have a lot of small business people, including people we've talked to, that this is really an albatross around them. And so when you get these very personal and very significant and serious issues that everybody on both sides on Main Street are dealing with, it's what leads to this political gridlock, because the stakes are so high and the emotions with it are so high that it creates this kind of paralysis. And that's, you know, you've had for 7 years, yes, the president's right, for 7 years we've been listening to the Republicans say, you know, repeal and replace. Well, yeah, but when you get to that point, you look at these people in the face and it's just not that easy. It's a much more complicated. And as the president said, who knew? What
might it mean for like a Brian Mast, local congressman in the House, first-term congressman, who said he supported the House version? He's not going to have anything, at least right now, to show for his efforts, except to say in his next election cycle, well, I was for it. You've got the presumed Senate race next year between Bill Nelson, the Democrat, and Rick Scott, who hasn't announced yet, but done everything but announced.
He seems to be campaigning a lot.
Talk about this very bread and butter issue, very pocketbook issue, life and death issue for many people, and how the dynamics of that will play in the campaign next year.
Well, 2 things are happening. Whether or not the Democrats can successfully argue that the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they fail to keep their promise, and whether or not voters ultimately will care about that. I think the bigger impact will be where we're at 6, 8, 9 months from now, what impact individuals are feeling from whatever the White House does, and potentially still Congress does with Obamacare. If it really is collapsing, if people really are getting hurt, people will start, and let's not forget the insurance companies and the healthcare industry and everything. You know, if things are starting to crumble and fall apart, they're going to raise hell that nothing was done.
Well, but here, let's look at that. And again, we don't know how that's going to play out, but right now, as it stands today,
we have heard President Trump say, let it fail now.
Let it fail,
right. Okay. Almost hoping that it will.
Whatever that
as many critics, yeah.
But politically, as it stands now, in reality, the Republicans, those that are running for re-election in 2018, have the best of both worlds. Because those who voted for the skinny repeal,
getting rid of individual mandates,
they can go
medical taxes.
They can go to the base and say, I voted, I did it. In the House, Brian Mast can say, I voted for this thing. You know, in reality, it was you know, Murkowski and Collins who
McCain.
Well, Murkowski and Collins who had for their own reasons, and McCain just got reelected. So in reality, you know, they're not on the hot seat.
So what we really have is profiles in action that people are going to be bragging about. Well, we really didn't do anything.
What we really have is profiles in cover.
Right.
They are covered.
But part of that sales pitch is going to have to be, because they did spend the last 7 years saying, you put us in the majority, we'll get this done. Well, they're in the majority, they didn't get it done.
And fundamentally, it will come down to how people are feeling the impact one way or the other on their pocketbooks. As so many argue, it'll be a pocketbook issue.
Well, the other thing is they didn't have a plan.
Right.
That, you know, it wasn't like people could go, oh, here's the Republican plan for improving health care, you know, that they've been working on for the last 7 years. So I agree with you, but I also think the Democrats are pretty good
briefings. I want to move to one other topic.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go between now and 2018 on this, and you're right. I mean, this thing falls apart. It's a different story.
And the political drama that is the Washington, D.C. Beltway and the White House these days, a little journalism 101. Last week, the comments of the new White House communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, became big news, partly because they were vulgar in tone. He attacked openly President Trump's chief of staff, calling Reince Priebus an expletive, paranoid schizophrenic, accusing him at least or implying that he might have leaked information about Scaramucci's financial disclosure forms. Even more vulgar comments about Steve Bannon, one of his chief architects and strategists for President Trump. It's open warfare in the White House, and the kind of language that I have never heard out of a communications director at the White House. What's going on? We're in a whole new world here. And this has nothing to do with being a Republican or Democrat. We're in a whole new world of the dynamic and the conversations going on right now.
Well, I disagree with you a little bit. I mean,
when have you heard that kind of talk out of the White House?
Not on the record. I've certainly, as covering campaigns...
This was on the record.
And I just wanted to make that distinction. I've certainly heard people get on the phone with me. Usually they were directing their comments at me.
But not on the record.
Not on the record. With this guy to call a reporter representing the White House, representing the President of the United States, representing America, to, on the record, use that kind of language and disparage his colleagues or future colleagues in the White House is... And without the president coming back and saying this is not acceptable behavior from our White House, it is astonishing.
Antonio, to those who say I don't care about the political theater, though, there are real ramifications when it takes attention away from getting health care done, from getting tax policy done, from getting pocketbook things done for Americans. I mean, that's really where the attention needs to lie.
Two things. I mean, yeah, because part of the problem here is that at the end of the day, it's the bullet pulpit of the presidency that when you get to such a close, you know, that close, it's that bully pulpit that gets you over the line. You've got a president now that last we heard was, you know, 36% approval rating. This certainly can't help because it talks to a mismanagement of the White House itself. Yeah, the president can always say, well, you know, we didn't get Obamacare done because the Senate wouldn't act. But this speaks to his ability to manage the White House. And I will say this, as a business editor for so many years, I've always heard the phrase, why can't we run government like a business? Well, let me just say that I've covered a lot of businesses and none of them acted like this. You know, this is in defense of, you know, a lot of CEOs out there are under fire, but I don't think that this would be tolerated in the courtroom.
And you know, the silence of Republican leadership is also notable. I mean, at what point do they say enough and they at least want to speak out on these kinds of things?
Back with closing comments, gentlemen, in a moment.